Now for the symmetrization, this can cause several troubles and frustrations if certain features are messed up. So first of all, I want to parent all the control bones. So I make a selection of everything. I'm making this way because it's easier to make the selections. The bendy bones we don't parent, they are already parented offset to their start handler control bones. And also the eyelash bones is required, because otherwise they will not rotate with the head bone, you'll see. So first keep offset to the head bone, all of these bones, then let's make a test of head rotation, and you see apparently everything is rotating accordingly. And the mesh of the eyelash and the eyelid and all the eye contour and the eyebrow, oh, we don't see the eyebrow right now, done, is not being messed up with these head rotations apparently. And so look what happens if we, for example, we don't parent this eyelash bone here, for example. Then as I rotate, it lags behind because it just had a copy location, a transformation bone constraints, to it doesn't have a copy rotation. So the offset parenting to the head bone will guarantee this natural rotation. In principle, if everything is properly set, the bones, the wave painting, the object modifiers, the vertex groups, the parenting, and also the origin positions, the applied transformations for all the objects. Here I'm checking if everything is matching in the center. Yes, it looks like so. So in principle, the rig shouldn't break, except some features, some bone constraints, they can have problems in automation on the symmetrization process. So this will happen here with the shrink wrap bone constraint. Go to armature menu, then symmetrize operator, and with all these bones selected, symmetrize. So on edit mode, apparently everything got correctly symmetrized, but then as we go on pose mode, or on object mode actually, we already see that some stuff didn't work very well. Let me try to pose the head and see if there's anything else too bad. No. So this is apparently working fine. I need to reset the pose, then address what's happening here. There are too many bones here. Let's address a few layers at a time. So in this case, let's see for the deformations. Yeah, so apparently the wave painting for the eye contour and these bones all got right. Let's also check for the eyebrows. So apparently these were also correctly symmetrized. I can make pose for both sides individually. Then the eyelids, yes, okay, there's some problem here. This is because of the shrink wrap bone constraint, that on one hand they are still targeting the other object, so object targets don't get the luxury of being symmetrized even though they have point L, point R naming. I can fix all this. Then there is still some issue that I found out was caused because since they got symmetrized, now their x-axis is inverted, and this is natural in Blender at least. So what we need to do is, since this shrink wrap bone constraint also aligned the bones with this option turned on, I need to now do this for the opposite, negative x. And there we go. Now let's see if, yes, it looks like it is matching. And let's pose. And yes, this looks good. And then if this is very important, let's rotate everything. And it seems it is working. also pose here to see if, just in case, right? It's good to check. So apparently everything here is already working fine. Okay, so this convinced me this is working. Something terrible that happened to me was that I found out for some reason that these faces were flipped, and then that was causing some really messy thing that I couldn't fix from. You see, it even conjures some issues there on the same shrink wrapping bones, but this was solved just by recalculating outside. Armature menu, symmetrize. There we go, all the things symmetrized because all the names are meant for that. Now you need to test each feature to make sure that everything is transforming properly. Of course, this is edit mode, we need to be on pose mode. Okay, so apparently we got some horrible thing happening. Okay, so now let's create some poses. It will not be complete, it's just a tutorial about how it could be done. I have this layer management, but what I want actually is the on pose mode, this animation tab and pose library. Okay, so I have many poses here that are older. Let's go and shift F1 for the asset browser, and let me just clear all these assets quickly. Then we'll start from these bones. I don't need the head bone here in the selection, so we'll start with no bone selected here. So I'll create no keyframe. Okay, so I need some bones to make the pose, so let's create this. This will be the base. Of course, let's pick the camera and place it somewhere interesting for refreshing this. Okay, this is plausible. Let's call it 0 closed. Then I want to have another for the eyes open, so what I'll do first is to have a single eye open, and of course you see that it's perhaps not the easiest way to open an eye, right? It's rigged, but thanks to the asset browser, the pose library, we can do this just once. Okay, let's assume this is good enough. Now I must not forget about the bones. This is annoying. Let's just get the eyelids, right? And now I don't need to select the bendy bones. I just need to select these control bones here, and then let's create a set. Then let's refresh this. Left eye open. Then we're gonna flip that, and for this we don't need to have bone selected. Then I select all these bones and I create asset. Then here let me take the camera to the front to make this view. So this will be a refreshment, and then I will call this 0 open, actually eyes open, and this eyes closed. Let's also make a surprised pose, so I will probably require these bones here. Let's make some higher position here. Then this can be even more open. I could indeed create more bone layers, right, to make this posing thing much better. Then here I also want this mesh to have some this eye could go higher now, why not? This would be some sort of situation where, why not? Maybe I would like to have this shrink wrap bone turned off so that I have more freedom of transformations. Okay, this is not exactly the kind of pose I wanted. I don't think it's expressive enough. The bottom eyelash being too big doesn't allow the certain features here to show very well, the stretch and squash. This could be easily fixed if I just reduce the size of the bottom eyelash. So, bad design idea, right? I really would like for this to have automatically hidden all the right side stuff. Okay, so let's select these. Have them in another layer would be a nice idea, at least for making this kind of posing. I think these are the bones, so let's create this asset. Well, there is some difference, so it's not that terrible. Let's refresh that. It's this one. No, it's this new one. Give it something like left eye surprise. Yeah. Because this is about the whole rig, while this one was just the eyelids. By having this one, let's see if I can manipulate this. Yes, and if I want to flip, I can do this. Okay. Let's make a sad and an angry expression. Or not angry, just like something like that. Suspicious. Yeah, so sometimes it can get funny, so to work with that. So the more time we spend developing this kind of rig, the more interesting. Well, there's some limit, of course, to the method. The easier it will be. Let's call it done. Let's get these bones. No, not these ones. These are for the left side. Then create asset. This one, so I'll call it left suspicious. Yeah, so now for the camera, somewhere like here, refresh. Okay, then let's see if I can. So okay, so we see how it works, and that's pretty funny, right? At least I show how we can create these poses and dispose of them in animation to a certain very basic level, right? And from them, of course, you can make slight differentiation posing, which is the most interesting thing, right? These are just the basis for expressions.